Hi students, good afternoon to all. I welcome you all in this fluid mechanics lecture. In the last lecture, we have seen the derivation of capillary rise and capillary depletion. We have derived the equation for capillary rise as well as for the capillary depletion or capillary fall, and we have solved problem based upon the capillarity, right? So in today's lecture, we will see the remaining properties, fluid properties, which are there in our syllabus. So the first property here is the compressibility. So let us understand this. What is compressibility? Let us solve the problem based upon this, and then we will see the next property, vapor pressure, and remaining last one is the cavitation, right? So compressibility. Everyone has familiar with this word, compressibility. So if anyone is able to tell the definition, you can unmute yourself and you can tell the definition of this compressibility word.
Compressibility means the change in dimension.
Change in dimension. Okay, correct. Change in dimension means we can say rather change in dimension. We can say it is change in the volume. If there is a change in the volume of any fluid, then we can say that that fluid is compressible in nature. Okay. So compressibility, it is also sometimes known as coefficient of compressibility. It can be defined as it is the ability of any fluid to get compressed under the external pressure force. Okay. So that ability of the fluid, if it is getting compressed under the external force, then that ability of the fluid is called as the compressibility. Okay, that characteristic is called as the compressibility. And depending upon its that ability, we can classify the fluid as the compressible fluid and incompressible fluid. Okay, already we have discussed before in one of the properties by learning there that the liquids are generally they are considered as incompressible because there is no change in volume of the liquids even after the application of large amount of external pressure force on it. Okay, but generally the gases they get compressed, there is a change in the reduction in the volume of the gases, it can be observed. So that's why we can say that gases are compressible in nature. Okay, so let us read this sentence what we have written. Compressibility is the measure. So compressibility is nothing but it is the measure of change in the volume, okay, resulting from the external pressure applied to the surface of the object. Why there will be change in the volume? Because of the external pressure that we apply on that fluid, due to which there will be a change in the volume. Okay, and that how to measure that? The measure of change, or it is the measure of the change in the volume resulting from the external pressure force. The frictional volume change, or the fractional, not frictional, the fractional volume change of an object is the ratio of change in volume to the initial volume. If we represent this change in volume in the fraction like this, change in the volume per original volume or per unit initial volume, then we call it as a fractional volume change. Okay, this is called as a fractional volume change, V by V. The compressivity of the fluid is basically is a measure of change in the density. So see here, what is density? Density is nothing but it is mass per unit volume, right? Mass is neither be created nor be destroyed; it remains as it is. So there is no change in the mass. But what in which property there will be change in the volume? There definitely the change is going to happen for the compressible fluid. Okay, the volume is going to get reduced, and due to reduction in the volume, what is going to happen? As they are inversely proportional to each other, if the volume decreases for the same mass, the volume decreases, then there will be a rise in the density. Density is going to change, right? So here, compressibility again it can be defined as it is the basically a measure of the change in the density of that fluid that will be produced in the fluid by specific change in the pressure. Okay, pressures are often taken to the for example, if any fluid is there inside the cylinder, and initially if you measure its density, density is nothing but mass per unit volume. If it is say 1000 kg per meter cube, okay, and after application of the external pressure force, if its volume get reduced, then the same mass 1000 kg, then here volume will not be 1 meter cube, then there will be reduction in the volume. It may be, let us say, 900 or 0.9. So if we divide this 1000 by 0.9, then there will be increase in the density you can observe here. Okay, If you divide any value by fraction value, then there will be definitely increase in the that value. It is going to happen here. So similarly, the density of that particular gas, it is going to increase due to the applied pressure force on that particular fluid, right? Here, now here, let us say the definition of compressibility. It is defined as it is the ability of the fluid to contract in volume under the action of pressure force or compressive stress, what we call it as a compressive stress, right? Because there is a compression. You can see there is in this particular, this is the cylinder. In this cylinder, there is a one piston here. This is the piston, okay, and there is a compression of the gas. It can takes place inside the cylinder. This is the original volume V, okay, and then there is a change in the volume. Piston has come from this particular top dead center to the bottom dead center up to here. This is the bottom of the piston here, and it can reach up to this point, okay. If it is reaching up to this point, then this particular variation, we can say that it is the change in the volume of the gas, okay. So that is dV. So dV by V is nothing but it is the fraction of change in the volume that we have represented, right? This change in if we initially the pressure was P1 was the initial pressure, okay, before applying the pressure here, okay. When the piston is at this particular level, the pressure is P1, right? When we apply again more pressure here, and if pressure reaches to P2, this is P1, then P2 minus P1, it can be called as delta P or dP. So that is nothing but change in pressure. Unless and until we change the pressure on this external pressure on this particular piston, this piston is not going to move ahead, okay. पुढे या ठिकाणी मूव नाही होणार जोपर्यंत आपण या ठिकाणी व्हॅल्यू वाढवत नाही तोपर्यंत, okay. So this final pressure P2 minus P1, it can be represented by letter dP, and this dP is nothing but it is change in pressure force per unit area. We know that pressure is nothing but it is force per unit area. Now here change, tell me whether we have changed the cross section area of the cylinder here. We have not changed the cross section area. Cross section area is same, but what we are changing there, we are changing this pressure force F, okay. So we can write this dP is equal to dF by A. A is nothing but it is the cross sectional area of this cylinder, okay. And scientists have done some experimentation, and they have observed that this change in pressure is going to create the change in the volume, and this is directly proportional to the this volume change in volume fraction, okay, fractional volume. And they have observed this relation between change in pressure and change in volume. So this observation they have got, that is जसं आपण या ठिकाणी प्रेशर वाढत जाईल, ओके, जसं आपण या ठिकाणी P1 to P2 प्रेशर वाढत जाईल, तसंच या ठिकाणी चेंज इन व्हॉल्यूम हा होत जाईल, ओके, विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू ओरिजिनल व्हॉल्यूम, ओके. दिस इज द फ्रॅक्शनल व्हॉल्यूम चेंज, and the negative sign has put here to represent that there is a reduction in the volume. जर आपण एक्सटर्नल फोर्स याच्यावरती अप्लाय करतोय, तर या ठिकाणी व्हॉल्यूम डेफिनेटली कमीच होणार आहे, वाढणार नाही, कारण वरून आपण खाली दाबतोय, बरोबर आहे. सो कॉम्प्रेशन करतोय म्हणजेच काय, रिडक्शन इन द व्हॉल्यूम, and as there is a reduction in volume, this negative sign indicates this reduction in the volume, okay. Final, to get the positive value, we have to add this negative sign here. So to remove this directly proportionality sign, we need a constant of proportionality, and here the constant K is kept here, okay. So this K is nothing but it is the constant of proportionality, and it is also known as bulk modulus of elasticity for that particular fluid, okay. So this value of K for different fluid, for every fluid it will be different, okay. All the fluids have the different value of K, that is constant of proportionality, that is bulk modulus of elasticity. So how we can define this bulk modulus of elasticity? So now if you observe here in this derivation, if I take this dV by V on this side, then I will get an expression like this: K is equal to minus dP upon dV by V, where this dP is nothing but it is the change in pressure, and this dV by V is nothing but it is the change in the volume divided by original volume, okay. So what will be the unit of this K, bulk modulus of elasticity? The unit of bulk modulus of elasticity will be, now if you look at this particular denominator, there is a volume here, here is also there is a volume, so the unit of this both will get cancelled. Let us say meter cube is here and meter cube is here, it will both get cancelled here, and you will have the unit of pressure for the unit of bulk modulus of elasticity. So what is the unit of pressure? It is Newton per meter square, Newton per centimeter square. So this will be the unit of bulk modulus of elasticity K. Okay. Now from this you can see bulk modulus of elasticity K is inversely proportional to this dV by V. Okay, it is inversely proportional to this dV by V. Means जेवढा या ठिकाणी कमी व्हॉल्यूम चेंज असेल तेवढा त्या पर्टिक्युलर फ्लुइडचा बल्क मॉड्युलस ऑफ इलॅस्टिसिटी हा जास्त असतो. रादर वी कॅन से ज्या लिक्विडचा किंवा फ्लुइडचा बल्क मॉड्युलस ऑफ इलॅस्टिसिटी हा जास्त असतो अशा लिक्विडचा चेंज इन व्हॉल्यूम जे आहे ते खूप कमी असतं. ओके, सो दिस थिंग यू शुड कीप इन माइंड. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट व्हॉट आय एम सेइंग? ज्या कुठल्याही फ्लुइडचा बल्क मॉड्युलस ऑफ इलॅस्टिसिटी हा जास्त असतो they can be considered as incompressible or they are less compressible because change in the volume will be very less here because they are inversely proportional to each other, right? So we have talked about this now, and if K's value is more, dV by V will be less, indicating less change in the volume, so less compressibility. Okay, and that's why the compressibility is expressed as inverse of bulk modulus of elasticity. So that's why, that is the reason that compressibility K is shown as inversely proportional to bulk modulus of elasticity. Okay, the compressibility is expressed as inverse of bulk modulus of elasticity. Here compressibility should be written. Compressibility already. This is the bulk modulus of elasticity there. So compressibility we can write here inversely proportional to 1 upon K because it is a change in the volume. जेवढा या ठिकाणी K कमी असेल तेवढा जास्त चेंज इन व्हॉल्यूम असेल, जेवढा जास्त K ची व्हॅल्यू असेल तेवढा कमी या ठिकाणी कॉम्प्रेसिबिलिटी असेल. ओके, सो दॅट्स वाय दे आर इन्व्हर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू इच अदर. And here it is mentioned about the sign here, negative sign. What that negative sign indicates? Okay, negative sign indicates that there is a reduction in the volume. Okay, to get this positive value of K, already this याचा एक minus असेल. Okay, dV by V, change in the reduction in the volume म्हणजे याचा निगेटिव्ह साइन असेल आणि त्यामुळे ते एक निगेटिव्ह साइन दिले. जर हे निगेटिव्ह असेल तर हे निगेटिव्ह काय होईल या ठिकाणी पॉझिटिव्ह होईल आणि आपल्याला पॉझिटिव्ह व्हॅल्यू बल्क मॉड्युलस ऑफ इलॅस्टिसिटीची व्हॅल्यू पॉझिटिव्ह भेटेल. So that's why the value of K has been this here negative sign has been introduced inside this. So this was about the bulk modulus of elasticity. Now here you can observe this experimental results what they have got. On the x-axis there is a volumetric strain. Okay, volumetric strain means dV by V. On the y-axis there is a compressive stress. Okay, that is dP. All the fluids are compressible to certain extent. Gases are more compressible than the liquids. Liquids are classified as incompressible because change in the density is very small. Okay, and this type of curve they have observed that compressive stress असा कमी होत जाईल तसं या ठिकाणी व्हॉल्युमेट्रिक स्ट्रेन या ठिकाणी वाढलेला आपल्याला पाहायला भेटतो. सो याच्यामध्ये theory part was this much. So you can note down this theory title here, definition. First of all, write down the title compressibility, then write down this definition for the compressibility. Do it fast now. Draw this diagram also, diagram of piston and cylinder. Compressibility, it is the measure of elasticity in the fluid. What is dV? dV is nothing but change in the volume. after application of external force. What is dP? It is the change in pressure from initial pressure to the final pressure. Is it over? Is it over? Should I take the next slide? Put your answers in the chat window. See, from the next Saturday onwards, if our session is there, then we are going to conduct the practical in this middle session. Okay, next slide. Write down this equation. dP is directly proportional to dV by V, and this is the equation. dP is equal to minus K into dV by V. Write it first. Okay, if anyone is having any doubt in understanding this concept of the compressibility, you can unmute, you can ask the question. I think this concept, models of elasticity, also you are using there in the structural mechanics. Am I right?
Yes.
Solid mechanics.
Yes. What is elasticity? Yes, anyone?
When the body gets original size and shape after removal of the external force, then it is called the elasticity.
After removal deforming forces, body gains its original shape.
Okay. Elasticity is the property of the fluid in which, due to which body gets regain its original shape and size even after the removal of the external pressure force, right? So that is elasticity. So then what is bulk modulus of elasticity? So it shows the ability of the fluid, how much it get compressed, right? How much volume it can be changed. So that elastic nature. Some substances are non-elastic, they are rigid. Okay, brittle substances are there. Some without showing any kind of change in the shape and size, they get ruptured, they get break. So that are brittle substances, right? Elastic, for example, steel is a elastic substance material, right? It has the elasticity. We can elongate, it can get compressed, and it can regain within that certain limit. It can regain its original shape and size. Beyond the limit, if you apply the stress on it, then it will be permanently get deformed, right? but there are certain substances which are brittle in nature. For example, wooden material. If you apply the tensile stress on it, it will get break. It will not get elongated. Or if you apply the compressive stress on the brick or the tensile stress on the brick, it will get easily broken without any change in the dimensions, right? So that material is the brittle material. It is not the elastic material, right? That is the concept of elasticity here. So here in fluid mechanics, when we call the fluid as elastic in nature, if there is a change in its volume, then we call it as a elastic. The fluid is elastic, or we can say it is a compressible in nature, right? We can apply the compressive stress here on the fluid, but we cannot apply the tensile stress on the fluid because already it is the fluid molecules are not they are not that much compactly arranged as compared to the solids, right? So only the force which can apply here is the that compressive force, not the tensile force, right? Any doubt, anyone? Right, have written this formula, this one, then this formula. K is equal to, if it is over, then we can move ahead. Okay, then let us solve the problem here now. Write down the problem here. Determine the bulk modulus of elasticity of liquid. Is mine. The bulk modulus of elasticity of a liquid comma if the pressure of the liquid is if the pressure of the liquid is increased from 70 Newton per centimeter square to 130 Newton per centimeter square. Newton per centimeter square to 130 Newton per centimeter square. Full stop. The volume of the liquid decreases by the volume of the liquid decreases by 0.15%. 0.15%. This is the problem. So first of all, let us write down the given thing. What we have to find out here? Find the bulk modulus of elasticity means what? K. We have to find out. What is given? Pressure of the liquid increased from. So there are two pressure values. Let us say P1 is the initial pressure, 70 Newton per centimeter square, and then final pressure, that is increased pressure, 130 Newton per centimeter square, right? So what will be the change in pressure? Let us say this is the piston, this is the cylinder, okay, and there is a piston here. Initially the pressure here P1 was 70 Newton per centimeter square, and then pressure at Vadula, and then piston has reached at this particular level now, and the pressure here is 130 Newton per centimeter square, right? And now we have to find out what is the bulk modulus of elasticity. Okay, so what is the change in volume? It has taken place here. This initial volume V, initial volume काय होतं? V होतं. Change in volume काय? dV. Okay. change in volume is a reduction in the volume. इथून एवढं हे चेंज झालेलं आहे. So this is a dV. So या ठिकाणी जे चेंज इन व्हॉल्यूम किंवा डिक्रीज इन व्हॉल्यूम झालेलं आहे ते पर्सेंट मध्ये दिलेलं आहे. सो dV by V we can write here 0.15%. Percent means per 100, 0.15 divided by 100 we can write like this. 0.15%. Percent means per 100, cent means 100. So here dV by V value can be written as 0.0015. This is the value of dV by V. याची ही value आहे. ठीक आहे. Now what is dP? Change in pressure. Change in pressure is nothing but it is final pressure minus initial pressure. So here 130 Newton per centimeter square to 70. Difference will be equal to how much it is?
60.
60, right? 60 Newton per centimeter square, right? Now we have here dP, we have here dV by V. What is the formula of dP? dP is equal to minus K into dV by V, or K is equal to minus dP divided by dV by V. Now this minus sign and a reduction in the volume here या ठिकाणी पण minus sign लिहायला पाहिजे. So this minus minus it will get cancelled here. dP value is 60 divided by dV value is 0.0015. Okay. The dV by V ची value आपण directly या ठिकाणी टाकली. And then divide this value by this 60 by 60 divided by 0.0015, and I will get here how much it is?
त्याचा सेंटीमीटर आहे ना सर
40,000
4 सेंटीमीटर मध्ये
Newton per centimeter square. So now here see there is no need to do the conversion of the unit here in this particular this compressibility, because if you look at this unit of the volume, हे व्हॉल्यूमची युनिट या ठिकाणी कॅन्सल होऊन जाते dV by V, बरोबर आहे. आणि जे प्रेशरचं युनिट आहे त्याचं जे युनिट आहे तेच युनिट या ठिकाणी याचं येते, बरोबर आहे. सो याच्या युनिट आणि याच्या युनिट मध्ये डायरेक्टली आपल्याला काही कॅन्सलेशन किंवा देर इज अ नो चेंज. जे काय ह्याचं युनिट आपण ठेवणार आहे तेच युनिट आपल्याला याचं कॉम्प्रेसिबिलिटीचं भेटून जातं. लेट अस से नाउ हियर वी हॅव गॉट द युनिट हियर 40,000 किलो Newton per centimeter square. Now if you want to convert this in Newton per meter square, then you can do that by multiplying it by 10 to the power 4. Okay, this is 40,000, or you can say 4 into 10 to the power 4. Already it is here, number of zeros, right? Newton per centimeter square, and again if you multiply it by 4 again, 4 into 10 to the power 8, it will become Newton per meter square. Okay, this will be the answer in SI unit. K is equal to 4 into 10 to the power 8, not minus here, it's plus 10 to the power 8 Newton per meter square. Are you getting my point how this unit has converted? Newton per meter square is equal to 10 to the power 4 Newton per centimeter square. So that's why 10 to the power 4 या ठिकाणी multiply केलं. And here 4 into 10 to the power 8 I have written here. And if you want to put the unit in Newton per centimeter square, no problem. जर परीक्षेमध्ये असं विचारलं असेल तर आपण हे युनिट त्या ठिकाणी कन्वर्ट करू शकतो, अदरवाइज नॉट नेसेसरी. म्हणजे 1 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर एवढं जर आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी हे करायचं असेल, रिडक्शन प्रेशर अप्लाय करायचं असेल तर आपल्याला no, what is that K? It is the amount of pressure required to change the volume of fluid by unity, right? So many students have got here the answer as a 40,000 Newton per centimeter square. This is Umber J, then Anisha. See here, Anisha, 40,000 Newton per meter square is not the unit here. It should be Newton per centimeter square, right? So let us check it now. You can see here 4 into 10 to the power 4 Newton per centimeter square. And if you want to convert that Newton per meter square, then it becomes 10 to the power 8. Everyone understood? Is there any doubt in this problem? Unit conversion or anything else? समजलं का सगळ्यांना कसं कन्वर्जन केले ते? Should I repeat it once again, or is it not necessary? Should we go for the next one? Anyone?
सर निगेटिव्ह साइन नाही काय
निगेटिव्ह सी हियर निगेटिव्ह साइन बद्दल मी काय म्हटलं होतं या ठिकाणी आपण निगेटिव्ह के जो आहे हा के ची व्हॅल्यू आपल्याला पॉझिटिव्ह मध्ये पाहिजे, ह्याची व्हॅल्यू निगेटिव्ह असू शकत नाही, बरोबर आहे. मग ही व्हॅल्यू पॉझिटिव्ह येण्यासाठी ऑलरेडी आपण एक निगेटिव्ह साइन त्या फॉर्म्युलेमध्ये आहे. हा निगेटिव्ह आपण साइन कशासाठी घेतलाय, कारण खाली जो डीव्ही बाय व्ही आहे त्यातला डीव्ही बाय हा ऑलवेज निगेटिव्ह असणार आहे, बरोबर आहे. चेंज डिक्रीज इन द व्हॉल्यूम असणार आहे. मग ही जर व्हॅल्यू आपली निगेटिव्ह असेल, मग हे निगेटिव्ह निगेटिव्ह कॅन्सल होण्यासाठी हा आपण इथं निगेटिव्ह ऑलरेडी दिलेला आहे. ठीक आहे. मग हे व्हॅल्यू आपली काय ते पॉझिटिव्ह येते. जर आपण इथं मायनस साइन नाही दिलं तर हे चेंज इन डिक्रीज इन व्हॉल्यूम काय असणार आहे, मायनस असेल. मग हे के ची व्हॅल्यू या ठिकाणी मायनस मध्ये येऊ शकते. To avoid this value of k minus, we have already deliberately we have put their minus sign in the equation, like that you can understand. So minus dp upon dv by v. Okay. Have you got it?
यस
Okay, is there any doubt to anyone again? Okay, I will repeat it once again. You are having confusion in what, Anisha? In the unit or whole problem?
सर ते प्रॉब्लेम समजला, ते नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लेम होता ना, आवाज ब्रेक होत होता.
Okay, कुठून समजलं नाही का पूर्णच?
हा सर पूर्णच.
Okay, once again I will repeat. See here, what is given in the problem here? Let us once again read it and let's solve. Determine the bulk modulus of elasticity. Means what we have to find out here? We need to find here K. If the pressure of the liquid is increased from, now here there are two pressure values given. For the first value we can call it as a P1, initial pressure, and this is the final pressure, right? And here I have drawn the diagram here. I had initial pressure, piston was here, so pressure P1 was this much 70, and when the piston has reached here, जसं आपण प्रेशर वाढवत गेलो तसं पिस्टन हा खाली खाली जाईल, डिक्रीज इन द व्हॉल्यूम त्या ठिकाणी होऊन जाईल. ओके, अँड फायनल प्रेशर P2 was how much it is 130. This was the P2 pressure, and decrease in the volume, change in the volume किती आहे, dV, this is the dV, it is 0.15%. पर्सेंट मध्ये त्यांनी व्हॉल्यूम चेंज दिलेला आहे. पर्सेंट विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू व्हॉट, पर्सेंट इन रिस्पेक्ट टू ओरिजिनल व्हॉल्यूम. ओके, so this decrease in the volume, so minus I can write here minus 0.15 divided by 100. जर मी इनिशियल ओरिजिनल व्हॉल्यूम जर मी 100 कन्सिडर केलं, ओके, 100 युनिट, लेट अस से इट मे बी मीटर क्यूब, 100 मीटर क्यूब जर ओरिजिनल व्हॉल्यूम असेल देन डिक्रीज इन द व्हॉल्यूम, तर त्या ठिकाणी व्हॉल्यूम किती डिक्रीज झालेलं आहे, इट हॅज डिक्रीज बाय 0.15%, म्हणजे 0.15 या एवढ्या मीटर क्यूबनी या ठिकाणी व्हॉल्यूम कमी झालेलं आहे. ओके, 0.15 मीटर क्यूब. ओरिजिनल जर 100 मीटर क्यूब असेल तर त्या केसमध्ये. ठीक आहे. नाव दिस व्हॅल्यू अँड दिस प्रेशर, इनिशियल प्रेशर, फायनल प्रेशर, आय वॉन्ट डीपी. ओके, चेंज इन प्रेशर म्हणजे इन्क्रीज इन प्रेशर केलं आपण, प्रेशर वाढवला त्यामुळे डिक्रीज इन व्हॉल्यूम त्या ठिकाणी झालं. So P2 minus P1, here we can write. So what is P2? 130 minus 70. So it has come 60 Newton per centimeter square, right? So this is the value of dP. Now what is formula for finding the K? K has the formula, this is the formula, minus dP by dV by V. So here what is the, this minus sign will be as it is. What is dP? It is 60 Newton per centimeter square divided by change in volume dV by V, that is 0.15 divided by 100. Okay, so instead of writing this we can write it as, now this minus sign is also there, so this minus minus it will get cancelled. Okay, we will get the plus value 60 Newton per centimeter square divided by, instead of writing this 0, I can write here 0.0015. Okay, and if you solve it you will get the value as 40,000 Newton per centimeter square. Okay, जर मला हे न्यूटन पर सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअरचं मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचं असेल तर न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर, देन आय कॅन मल्टिप्लाय दिस 4 into 10 to the power 4 which is already there. ओके, हे 4 शून्य आहेत, बाय 10 to the power 4, आता मी 10 to the power 4 ने मल्टिप्लाय करेन to get the unit in Newton per meter square. Okay, so at last I will get here answer as 4 into 10 to the power 8 Newton per meter square. Okay, why I have multiplied by 10 to the power 4 once again here? To get conversion of this Newton per centimeter square to meter square, because 1 meter is equal to 10 to the power 2 centimeter, 1 meter square is equal to 10 to the power 4 centimeter square. Okay, मग हे न्यूटन पर सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये कशामध्ये कन्व्हर्जन करायचं आहे, न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर. सो न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये जर करणार असेल तर हे काय करावं लागेल, आपल्याला इकडे घेऊन जावं लागेल. बरोबर आहे, मग हे काय इकडे जर काय होईल 10 to the power -4 होईल. बरोबर, म्हणजे हे 10 to the power -4 मीटर स्क्वेअर. ओके, सेंटीमीटरचं मीटर स्क्वेअर मध्ये आपण केलं, सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअरच्या ऐवजी हे आपण लिहिलं. मग हेच पॉवर वरती गेल्यावर काय होईल, प्लस होऊन जाईल. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? 10 to the power 4 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर. Are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Still anyone is having any doubt? So let us solve the next one. Write down, what is bulk modulus of elasticity of a liquid? What is the bulk modulus of elasticity of a liquid which is compressed in a cylinder, which is compressed in a cylinder from a volume of 0.0125 meter cube from a volume of 0.0125 meter cube at 80 Newton per centimeter square pressure, 80 Newton per centimeter square pressure to a volume of 0.0124 meter cube at 1. There is a network issue. Right on there, 150 Newton per centimeter square pressure. Okay, so let us solve it. Here given, what are the given things? Initial volume, let us say V1, or let us say V itself, original volume, okay, 0.0125 meter cube. Then final volume, let us call it as a V2, 0.0124. So then change in the volume, dV will be equal to final minus initial, or let us call it as a V1, rather to have avoid the confusion, V2 minus V1. So 0.0125 minus 0.0124, we will get here 0.001 meter cube, right? So then dV by V, now here what is the dV by V? dV is nothing but change in the volume, a minus sign it can live into minus 0.001, that is dV. What is the V? V is the original volume. What was the original volume? This is original volume, 0.0125, right? So you will get here this dV by V. Then we need what is dP, right? So dP is nothing but P2 minus P1. What is P2? 150 Newton per centimeter square minus 80 Newton per centimeter square, right? And here we got 70 Newton per centimeter square, right? So put these values in this equation. K is equal to minus dP divided by dV by V. So how much comes the dP? Minus here 70 divided by dV by V, that is minus 0.001 divided by 0.0125. It can come here in and can be written as multiplication of it. Find out the answer for this. Or first simple solve this 0.001 divided by 0.0125. It is coming 0.8. Okay, so minus 0.08 you will get here. Now here 70 minus divided by minus 0.08 is minus you get cancelled, and at last you get here the pressure value, K value as 70 divided by answer. If I do, then I am getting here 875 Newton per centimeter square. Okay, so in this way we have to solve the problem. 8.7. See here, there is a mistake here. It difference, हा दोन्हीचा difference हा 0.000, तीनदा 0 होते बरं का इथं. 3 times 0.
0.01 पाहिजे.
हा इथं 0.0001 येते. So 3 times 0 1. So that's why our answer has become wrong. It will be 808,750. Okay, or we can write it as 8.75850 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per centimeter square. Also like this also we can write 8750 Newton per centimeter square. make the correction there and tell me the answer what you have got.
8.75 into 10 raised to 3.
Okay. Everyone has got the same answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us move ahead to learn the new concept, new property, vapor pressure. Is there any doubt regarding the last problem here? Anyone not understood step over? If it is not, then we will move toward the next property, that is vapor pressure. Everyone is familiar about this property, vapor pressure. You might have seen if you put the petrol on the any surface, okay, let it be concrete surface, wooden surface, or if you put it on the floor, okay, tile, then you will observe that after few minutes there is no petrol on the surface. Okay, the petrol आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी दिसत नाही. Why it happened like this? Or even it is true with the water. If there is a surface on the open surface, if you put the water, okay, and if there is a sunshine is here, okay, during the summer season, whatever the amount of water we have thrown here on the surface, eventually it will get evaporated, and you will not observe any stress of water on that floor. फ्लोरवरती आपल्याला कुठल्याही प्रकारचं पाणी त्या ठिकाणी दिसणार नाही. You might have observed all these things. Why this happens? This happens because of the process called as the evaporation, right? So what is the meaning of evaporation? Evaporation is nothing but it is the process of conversion of liquid phase to the gaseous phase, right? एक phase दुसऱ्या phase मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी convert होतो. And why this happens? This happens because of the thing that the liquid molecules, they absorb the heat from the surrounding. Okay, या ठिकाणी जी फरशी वगैरे आहे किंवा कुठल्याही ह्याच्यातून this liquid molecules, what they do, they absorb the heat from the surrounding, and this heat is responsible for conversion of phase of the liquid from liquid state to the gaseous state. So there are different types of heats, like one latent heat is there, latent heat, okay, then heat of another one heat is the heat which is responsible for conversion of the head, this phase, latent heat of evaporation, okay. So this heat is responsible for this conversion of liquid molecules to the gaseous molecules. And once this liquid gas get converted into the gaseous phase, as this they have observed the amount of energy, these gaseous molecules, what they do, they get accumulated. If the system is closed, जर एखादी बॉटल आहे त्या बॉटल मध्ये आपण असं जर केलं असेल, okay, then you will observe that suppose you put the petrol inside the closed bottle and it is half filled, okay, then after some time what happens, the surface molecules which are present on this surface, they will start to get evaporated by observing the heat from the surrounding, and they will get accumulated here inside this particular area or this region, empty space जो आहे. What is going to happen? The empty space is going to get filled by that liquid molecules which have now become converted into the gaseous form, okay. And that liquid gaseous molecules, what they are going to do, they impose the pressure. Now they have converted into the gas, and these gas molecules, they move randomly here and there, and they exert the pressure on the surrounding. या ठिकाणी जो सरफेस आहे याच्यावरती सराउंडिंग सरफेस वरती ते प्रेशर एक्झर्ट करायला चालू होते. That surface may be this one, this surface may be this one, and this one, okay. And we can measure what is the change in pressure with the help of this pressure gauges, okay. जर आपण या ठिकाणी प्रेशर गेज लावला, इनिशियली भरल्या या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला प्रेशर कमी दिसेल, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम्स दिस प्रेशर विल इन्क्रीज हियर लाईक दिस, ओके. हा प्रेशर गेज आपल्याला रिडिंग दाखवावं लागेल. आणि इफ यू हिट दिस फर्दर, this particular liquid, then these molecules which are present here in the surface, they will absorb this heat and again they will escape from this liquid surface. Okay, and again there is an increase in the pressure that we can observe. So this pressure, vapor pressure, is nothing but it is the pressure exerted by this vapor around on the surrounding surface. That pressure is called as the vapor pressure. Okay, so this is the definition of vapor pressure, and this particular vapor pressure, it shows the tendency of any liquid to get converted into the phase from liquid phase to the gaseous phase. Okay, it shows जेवढा त्या ठिकाणी vapor pressure जास्त असेल, we can say that it has more ability to get converted into the gaseous state from the liquid state after absorb these some amount of energies. So in case of water and in case of petrol, या दोन्हीचं जर आपण उदाहरण घेतलं या ठिकाणी, then we can easily say that petrol is having more vapor pressure as compared to the water. Okay, because normally at room temperature water generally it not that much speedily evaporate. Okay, पाणी जर आपण पाणी आणि पेट्रोल हे दोन्ही ऍट अ टाइम आपण जर त्या ठिकाणी ग्राउंड फ्लोर वरती टाकले तर पेट्रोल इझिली त्या ठिकाणी लगेच इव्हॅपोरेट होऊन जातं ऍज कम्पेअर टू दी वॉटर. सो दॅट वी कॅन से दॅट पेट्रोल इज हॅव्हिंग मोर वेपर प्रेशर ऍज कम्पेअर टू दॅट ऑफ दी वॉटर, बिकॉज याचे जास्त मॉलिक्युल हे त्या ठिकाणी हवेत गेलेले आहेत. ओके, हे जर समजून घ्यायचं असेल अजून क्लिअरली तर लेट अस से देर आर 2 कंटेनर्स. हे 2 कंटेनर आपण घेतलेत रूम टेम्परेचरला, याच्या एकात पण पाणी भरलं आणि एकामध्ये आपण पेट्रोल भरलं असेल तर पाण्याचे हे खूप कमी मॉलिक्युल्स हे या ठिकाणी येतील, ह्या एम्प्टी स्पेस मध्ये कलेक्ट होतील. बट इन केस ऑफ पेट्रोल देर विल बी मोर नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्युल्स विल बी कलेक्टेड हिअर, and as there are more number of vapors present in this empty space, this particular container, you can observe here more vapor pressure as compared to the vapor pressure of water. Okay, so in this way we can understand this vapor pressure term or property of the fluid more clearly, and that's why the fluids which are more volatile, आपण त्या ठिकाणी शब्द वापरू शकतो volatile. volatile म्हणजे काय, easily get converted from liquid state to the gaseous state or from the solid state to the gaseous state. So that is word we use, the volatility nature of the liquids. Okay, so here let us read all the liquids vaporize and evaporates due to the molecules escaping from the silky surface. So if we consider the example of mercury, mercury is also one kind of liquid, but it has very less vapor pressure, and because the molecules, they do not easily escape from the surface even after absorbing this amount of energies. So at room temperature the vapor pressure of the mercury is very less, and that's the reason, one of the reason that mercury is used as manometric fluid. Okay, जर मर्क्युरीच्या ऐवजी आपण दुसरं कुठलंही लिक्विड वापरलं, लेट अस से वॉटर किंवा ऑइल, दे हॅव द व्हेरी हाय वेपर प्रेशर एज कम्पेअर्ड टू द मर्क्युरी, because at room temperature the more amount of molecules they will escape from the free surface and they will get collected into that open space. Okay, and they will start exerting pressure on the surrounding, right? But in case of the mercury is having very low vapor pressure, so त्याचे जे मॉलिक्युल आहेत ते इझिली त्या ठिकाणी इव्हॅपोरेट नाही होत, आणि जर जे झाले तर त्या ठिकाणी खूप स्मॉल क्वांटिटी मध्ये इव्हॅपोरेट होतात. Okay, so that's why mercury is used as a manometric fluid. That is one of the reasons. So again, why this vapor pressure property is important to understand, to learn. Why it is important to learn this vapor pressure property? This is important because at in any closed system, कुठल्याही closed system आपण जर घेतली तर त्या closed system मध्ये काही under pressure जे liquid आहे त्या ठिकाणी, pressure generally liquids moves under pressure, and as this is a closed system, the change in the pressure is going to affect the property of that or the nature of that particular fluid. For example, let us say there is a liquid here flowing through this pipe. Okay, and at this particular point what is happening there, pressure has suddenly dropped here. Pressure जर या ठिकाणी कमी झाला, then there are chances that the liquid which is present here, the fluid which is present here in the liquid form, that liquid, it may get converted into the gaseous form at this particular point. Okay, हे chances त्या ठिकाणी rise होतात. Okay, आणि एखादा लिक्विड जर जास्त त्या ठिकाणी वेपर प्रेशर जास्त असेल एखाद्या लिक्विडचा, देन त्याचे परत ह्याच्यामध्ये कन्व्हर्जन होण्याचे चान्सेस अजून खूप वाढतात. कशामध्ये गॅसेसमध्ये कन्वर्ट व्हायची. सो दिस पर्टिक्युलर पोर्शन इज कॉल्ड एज द कॅव्हिटी. जर या ठिकाणी गॅसेसमध्ये जर कन्व्हर्जन झालं तर त्या ठिकाणी कॅव्हिटीज तयार होतात, अशा प्रकारच्या गॅसेसचे बबल्स तयार होतात. अँड दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज द कॅव्हिटेशन. ही पुढची नेक्स्ट प्रॉपर्टी आपण पाहणार आहोत. That property is nothing but it is the cavitation of the liquid. The liquids which are more having more vapor pressure or which are more volatile, the cavitation is going to happen there in large quantity. Okay, even in case of water also, this vapor pressure it can be observed, and cavitation phenomenon can be observed in case of water also. So we should be well aware the points, such points where the vapor pressure is going to get reduced. That pressure inside the system, it is going to reduce below the vapor pressure. जर वेपर प्रेशर पेक्षा कमी प्रेशर जर त्या ठिकाणी क्रिएट झाला तर डेफिनेटली हे लिक्विड जे आहेत लिक्विड हे गॅसेसमध्ये या ठिकाणी कन्वर्ट व्हायला चालू होतात. ओके, आणि आफ्टर सम टाइम व्हॉट हॅपन्स, ज्यावेळेस हे परत लिक्विड्स वेपर्स वगैरे जर एखाद्या हाय प्रेशर रिजन मध्ये गेले तर परत या ठिकाणी ही जी कॅव्हिटी तयार झालेली आहे ही कॅव्हिटी सडनली त्या ठिकाणी कोलॅप्स होते. अँड ही कोलॅप्स सडनली ज्यावेळेस कॅव्हिटी कोलॅप्स होते, जर तो वेपर प्रेशर ह्या सरफेसच्या कॉन्टॅक्ट मध्ये असेल, जवळ असेल, that then there is a formation of this particular sudden disruption or the destruction of the cavity. It is going to create the problem to the surface of the material. Okay, पाईपचा जो मटेरियल आहे किंवा कुठलाही एखादा कंपोनंट त्या ठिकाणी इम्पेलर फॉर एक्झाम्पल असेल, इम्पेलर ऑफ द पंप, त्याच्यामध्ये जर कॅव्हिटी तयार झाली असतील आणि त्या ठिकाणी जर ती कॅव्हिटी एकदम सडनली नष्ट झाल्या किंवा क्लोज झाल्या, then this particular reduction in the cavities, or we can say destruction of the cavities, is going to create the wear and tear of the material. तो जो पाईप असेल किंवा इम्पेलरचा जो मटेरियल आहे त्याचं त्या ठिकाणी इरोजन किंवा कोरोजन ह्या ठिकाणी वाढतं, जास्त होतं. ओके, सो टू अवॉइड दिस पर्टिक्युलर प्रॉब्लेम्स वी नीड टू अंडरस्टँड what is the vapor pressure of that liquid which is flowing through the pipe. Okay, let us say petrol is flowing through a certain pipe, then we should know what is the vapor pressure of this petrol, so that we should maintain the pressure inside the pipeline such that that pressure inside the pipeline will not get reduced below the vapor pressure of the petrol. Okay, जर कमी होत असेल तर आपण त्या ठिकाणी प्रेशर वाढवलं पाहिजे. and if the pressure is decreasing below the vapor pressure of the liquid, then definitely there will be a formation of these cavities. Okay, vapor bubbles त्या ठिकाणी तयार होऊ शकतात. And this formation of vapor bubbles, when they coming in contact with the high pressure region, again eventually this bubble is going to get burst. हा बबल त्या ठिकाणी फुटून जातो, लार्ज कोलॅप्स होतो आणि त्या ठिकाणी लार्ज नॉइज क्रिएट होतो. and due to this, if this particular destruction of the bubble is taking place near the surface of any material, then there is a damage to that material it is going to occur due to this particular cavitation. Okay, so that's why it is very important to understand, to know the vapor pressure of any liquid. Okay, so all the liquids vaporize or evaporates due to the molecules escaping from the pre-liquid surface. A change from the liquid state to the gaseous state is known as the vaporization. So that's we have discussed. When the liquid contained in a closed vessel, vapor molecules get accumulated in the space between the free surface and top of the vessel. तो जो फ्री सरफेस आहे आणि टॉप वेझलचा जो टॉप आहे याच्यामध्ये हे मोलिक्युल्स त्या ठिकाणी कलेक्ट होतात. दिस accumulated vapor of the liquid exert a pressure on the liquid surface which is known as vapor pressure. So या ठिकाणी जो प्रेशर आहे that pressure is called as the vapor pressure. This vapor pressure is measure of the tendency of material to change into the gases or vapor state, and it increases with temperature. जसं टेम्परेचर वाढेल तसं वेपर प्रेशर पण त्या ठिकाणी वाढतो. The temperature at which the vapor pressure at the surface of the liquid becomes equal to the pressure exerted by the surrounding is called as the boiling point of the liquid. Okay, या ठिकाणी another word boiling point you can understand. What is boiling point? Surrounding temperature ला जर त्या ठिकाणी the temperature at which vapor pressure at the surface of the liquid becomes equal to the pressure exerted by the liquid exerted by the surrounding. For example, सराउंडिंगचा आपला प्रेशर आहे या ठिकाणी ऍटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर, राईट, आणि तेवढा जर प्रेशर आपण एखाद्या लिक्विडला आपण जर हीट केलं, फॉर एक्झाम्पल वॉटर, पाणी जर आपण हीट करायला चालू केलं, ओके, आपण हीट करत गेलो आणि त्या ठिकाणी काय व्हायला लागतं, त्या ठिकाणी water vapors will be started to form there, and one time will reach at which that vapor pressure or water vapor जे आहे त्यांनी create केलेला pressure जो आहे, that pressure will become equal to the atmospheric pressure, and at that particular temperature water start boiling. त्या ठिकाणी water boil व्हायला चालू होतं, and that point is called as the boiling point. So the boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius. 100 डिग्री सेल्सिअसला गेल्यानंतर काय होतं या ठिकाणी जो वेपर प्रेशर आहे, that vapor pressure will become equal to the atmospheric pressure, and that's why here you can observe the boiling of water, it will takes place there. Okay, if the pressure on liquid is less than or equal to the vapor pressure, it starts boiling or evaporate. Higher the vapor pressure, more is the volatile is the liquid. For example, vapor pressure of petrol is at 20 degrees Celsius is 30.4 kilonewton per meter square. See the value, how much large is the vapor pressure at 20 degrees Celsius, while that of the water is only 2.345 kilonewton per meter square. So you can see there is a comparison. It is more than 10 times the vapor pressure has been created by the petrol. Hence, petrol vaporizes faster than water. At temperature, as the temperature increases, vapor pressure also increases. Mercury is having very low vapor pressure. Okay, how much it is? It is 0.173 Newton per meter square. See, very small value it is, right? Density and high density, therefore it is used as a manometric tool. So that's why I will discuss. So what will be the unit of the vapor pressure? As it is a pressure, the unit will be Newton per force per unit area, Newton per meter square. Okay, so there will not be problem asked on this property. This was just theory point, and here we are going to see the next property here, cavitation. Okay, cavitation upon higher ठिकाणी point बघणार आहोत, and then there will be an end of this unit number 1. Okay, so just now we have discussed about this cavitation. What is the cavitation? Cavitation is nothing but it is the formation of the vapor bubble, formation of the bubbles filled with the vapors within the body of moving fluid. एखाद्या moving fluid च्या body मध्ये जर त्या ठिकाणी bubble तयार झाला तर तो जो formation of bubble आहे, that is called as the cavitation. Okay, so before going ahead, let me know from your side, is there any doubt in this property vapor pressure to anyone? If you are having doubt, you can ask. No doubt. Okay. So what is cavitation? Cavitation is the formation of bubble filled with vapor within the body of moving object or moving liquid, that is called as the cavitation. Why this happens? Because during, you can see it, or you can read all this theory part here. This happens because if the pressure decreases below the vapor pressure, okay, vapor bubbles begins to appear whenever pressure at the point in the fluid falls below the or equal to the vapor pressure of the liquids. At that time, the vapor bubbles are going to form there. When these bubbles collapse, this bubble flows with liquid and comes in contact with the high pressure, the vapor condenses and bubble suddenly collapse. So bubble that can collapse. The space occupied by the bubble is filled with the surrounding fluid or the liquid, and due to which some noise occurs and vibrations are produced. So त्या collapse झाल्यानंतर काय होतं त्या ठिकाणी काही noise आणि vibrations create होतात, आणि तो त्या ठिकाणी due to which there is a damage to the material of that surrounding bubble is going to get damaged. The cavities collapse on the surface of the body, due to which the materials of the solids surface get eroded. So there is erosion of the material is going to occur there, or it will take place there. Cavitation may occur in the high-speed hydraulic machines, okay, such as hydraulic turbines and pumps. Pump मध्ये जे centrifugal pump वगैरे आहेत किंवा hydraulic turbines जे आहेत, Kaplan turbine, Francis turbine, Filton turbine that you have studied. In that turbines where there is a formation of the cavities, there this particular damage you can observe that has happened to that particular material. Okay, it also takes place in the certain pipelines. ज्या ठिकाणी प्रेशर रिड्यूस होतो अशा पाईपलाईन मध्ये पण त्या ठिकाणी कॅव्हिटेशन आपल्याला पाहायला त्या ठिकाणी भेटू शकतो. ठीक आहे. So here you can see the diagram of the which the erosion has taken place due to the cavitation. सो दिस इज द इम्पेलर. इम्पेलरच्या जी वेन आहेत, वेन ऑफ इम्पेलर या ठिकाणी इरोजन झालं आपल्याला पाहायला भेटेल. त्यानंतर डॅमचा जो स्पिलवे आहे त्या स्पिलवेवरती आपल्याला अशा प्रकारचं इरोजन जे आहे ते आपल्याला पाहायला भेटेल. सो दिस पर्टिक्युलर फेनॉमेनॉन इट हॅपन्स बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कन्सेप्ट कॉल्ड एज द कॅव्हिटेशन. ओके. जर प्रेशर त्या ठिकाणी वेपर प्रेशरपेक्षा कमी झाला तर त्या ठिकाणी कॅव्हिटीज तयार होतात आणि त्या कॅव्हिटीज ज्यावेळेस हाय प्रेशरच्या एरियामध्ये येतात त्यावेळेस त्या फुटून जातात, ब्रस्ट होतात आणि दॅट क्रिएट्स द wear and tear of the material in which they are coming in contact. Okay, this is the eye of impeller. This is the veins of the impeller. या ठिकाणी डॅमेज झालं दिसेल. सिमिलरली हिअर ऑल्सो हे या ठिकाणी काय होतं इन केस ऑफ स्पिलवे, दिस इज द वी कॅन से ओगी टाईप स्पिलवे. ज्यावेळेस हा वॉटर वाहतो या ठिकाणी at that time it is touching the surface of the spillway, but sometimes it leave the surface, and when it leave the surface at that time what is going to happen, what happens there, there will be a creation of the negative pressure there. Negative pressure created, and due to that negative pressure or the vacuum pressure, the water get converted into the bubbles. Water त्या ठिकाणी काय होतं, बबल्स मध्ये कन्वर्ट व्हायला लागतं आणि त्या ठिकाणी कॅव्हिटीज तयार होतात. and that cavities when they come in contact with the high pressure at that time they get collapse, suddenly collapse होतात आणि या ठिकाणी हे अशा प्रकारचं इरोजन जे आहे ते इरोजन त्या ठिकाणी क्रिएट करतात. ओके. So this was the concept of cavitation, and this is the end of this unit number 1. Thank you to all. So if you are having any doubt, you can ask me regarding this cavitation, then vapor pressure, then I will solve your doubt. Otherwise, if no having any doubt, then we can move to the next unit, unit number 2. Okay, I will wait here for a minute. I will take some water. Is there any doubt? If no one is having doubt, then we will move ahead. Unit number 2. I will close this now. Yes. So let us now start the unit number 2, that is fluid statics. Okay. So fluid static we have initially in the first lecture there, first or second lecture we have discussed about the syllabus. So in that syllabus we have seen there what are the contents that we are going to learn in this unit. So here once again I will repeat it. It has been given the 9 hours weightage for the completion of this unit, and what are the contents that you are going to learn here? Pressure variation in the fluid static, then Pascal's law, units and scales of the pressure measurement, atmospheric pressure, absolute pressure, then what is gauge pressure, vacuum pressure, then piezometer, YouTube manometer, single column manometer, YouTube differential manometer, inverted YouTube manometer, differential manometer, then micrometers, mechanical pressure gauges. So this is the, we can say this is the subunit, first subunit from this particular unit. Okay, that like एक subunit आहे. Then comes the second part here about the pressure measurement, total pressure and center of pressure. How to find out it for the plane surface area, then for the curved surface. Total pressure and center of pressure, pressure diagram, total pressure on the plane surface and curved surface, depth of center of pressure, then practical application of total pressure and center of pressure. Buoyant force, again, this is the next concept here. That is the third subtopic you can say from this unit. Buoyant force, then what is buoyancy, what is center of buoyancy, then Archimedes principle, metacenter and metacentric height. Equilibrium of floating and submerged bodies, metacentric height, evaluation, theoretical and experimental methods, oscillation of floating body, fluids in relative equilibrium, static fluid subjected to uniform linear acceleration, liquid containers subjected to constant horizontal acceleration, liquid containers subjected to constant vertical acceleration. So these are the contents that we are going to learn in this unit. Okay, these are the assignment questions. You can note down these assignment questions in your notebook. First of all, write down the title of the unit here, that is fluid statics, unit number 2. And then directly you can note down the assignment questions in your notebook. Okay, till that I will wait here. So go on writing these assignment questions. Okay, when it is over, then you can tell me.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes, ask.
ते फ्लुइड मेकॅनिक्सच्या 2 ब्रांचेस आहेत ना, मग त्या नोट्स मध्ये 3 दिलेत.
दोन कुठल्या म्हणताय?
स्टॅटिक डायनामिक आहे, मग त्या कायनेमॅटिक्स पण दिलंय.
हा, 3 आहेत टोटल.
पण ते डायनामिक्सचे आहेत ना?
आहे की पुढचा युनिट जो आपला आहे तो कायनेमॅटिक्स वरती आहे आणि चौथा जो युनिट आहे तो आहे फ्लुइड डायनामिक्स. ओके, युनिट नंबर 4.
नाही सर, ते कायनेटिक्स नाही दिलेलं. कायनेमॅटिक्स फक्त दिलं.
कायनेमॅटिक्स आहे, कायनेटिक्स नाहीये. सी कायनेटिक्स ऍक्च्युली डायनामिक्स जो आहे तो डायनामिक्स आपण इकडं ह्याच्यामध्ये इंजिनिअरिंग मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये आपण त्याला कायनेटिक्स म्हणतो आणि इकडं फ्लुइड मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये त्याला आपण फ्लुइड डायनामिक्स म्हटलेलं आहे. कायनेटिक्स आणि कायनेमॅटिक्स हे दोन जसे वेगळे प्रकार आहेत. कायनेटिक्स म्हणजे काय, ज्याच्यामध्ये आपण फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करतो, दॅट इज कायनेटिक्स, राईट. आणि कायनेमॅटिक्स म्हणजे काय, ज्याच्यामध्ये आपण फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करत नाही, राईट. मग ते फ्लुइड मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये आपण कायनेटिक्सच्या ऐवजी या ठिकाणी डायनामिक्स हा शब्द वापरलेला आहे. ऍक्च्युली कायनेटिक्स आणि कायनेमॅटिक्स ह्या डायनामिकच्या 2 सब ब्रांचेस आपण त्या ठिकाणी कन्सिडर करतो याच्यामध्ये इंजिनिअरिंग मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये. ठीक आहे, तो त्यातला फरक आहे. जर समज नसेल तर मी या ठिकाणी लिहून तुम्हाला सांगते. व्हाईट बोर्ड हियर. इन इंजिनिअरिंग मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये 2 ब्रांचेस आपण तुम्ही शिकलेला असाल. एक ब्रांच आहे स्टॅटिक्स, ओके, आणि दुसरी या ठिकाणी आहे डायनामिक्स. असं त्या ठिकाणी क्लासिफिकेशन दिलेलं आहे, स्टॅटिक्स अँड डायनामिक्स. म्हणजे डायनामिक्सचे परत 2 त्या ठिकाणी त्यांनी भाग केलेले आहेत, कायनेटिक्स, ओके, आणि ह्याला म्हटलं आहे कायनेमॅटिक्स. ठीक आहे, तर कायनेटिक्स मध्ये आपण या ठिकाणी फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करतो आणि याच्यामध्ये फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करत नाही कायनेमॅटिक्स मध्ये. ठीक आहे, तसंच फ्लुइड मेकॅनिक्स मध्ये पण FM मध्ये काय होतं, हे आपण इन्स्टेड ऑफ डायनामिक्स हा सेपरेट करण्याच्या ऐवजी त्यांनी काय केलं, हे इथंच ब्रांचेस घेतलेत. एक म्हणजे स्टॅटिक आणि स्टॅटिक्स, फ्लुइड स्टॅटिक ज्याला आपण म्हणतो, आणि ह्याच्यामध्ये फ्लुइड डायनामिक्स याला नाव दिले त्यांनी. याच्यामध्ये आपण फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करतो आणि नेक्स्ट म्हटलं या ठिकाणी फ्लुइड कायनेमॅटिक्स, याच्यामध्ये आपण फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करत नाही. ओके, सो दीज आर द ब्रांचेस इन द फ्लुइड मेकॅनिक्स, स्टॅटिक्स, फ्लुइड डायनामिक्स आणि फ्लुइड कायनेमॅटिक्स. या 3 ब्रांचेस आपण या ठिकाणी शिकणार आहोत. इज इट क्लिअर?
पार्ट आहे का?
यस केकम. सेल
फ्लुइड
आउटलेट
कायनेमॅटिक्स हा एक वेगळा पार्ट आहे का सर?
हो, फ्लुइड कायनेमॅटिक्स हा वेगळा पार्ट आहे, फ्लुइड डायनॅमिक्स हा
हो.
वेगळा पार्ट आहे. फ्लुइड डायनॅमिक्स मध्ये तुम्हाला आपण त्या ठिकाणी फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करतो आणि फ्लुइड कायनेमॅटिक्स मध्ये आपण फोर्सेस कन्सिडर करत नाही. ठीक आहे.
ओके सर. ओके सर.
Yes, this part. Write down these assignment questions.
हॅलो सर,
हा,
असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन कशावर लिहायचे?
असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन तुम्ही 2 साइड पेजेस वरती लिहिले तरी चालतील. तुमच्याकडे
स्क्वायरच्या आपलं स्क्वायरच्या पेपरवर लिहिलं तर ते
चालेल की, काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही. ते असाइनमेंट लिहिल्यानंतर ते स्कॅन करायचे तुम्ही आणि ते PDF मध्ये कन्वर्ट करून ते मला आपल्या ह्याच्यावरती पाठवायचे. तुम्हाला जी लिंक मी पाठवणार आहे असाइनमेंट सबमिशनची लिंक, तर त्या लिंक वरती तुम्हाला ते पाठवून द्यायचं आहे परत. ठीक, अपलोड करायचे PDF. आणि असाइनमेंट लिहिताना त्याच्यावर तुमचा रोल नंबर लिहा, तुमचं नाव, रोल नंबर हे मेन्शन करा, जे तुमचीच आहे आपल्याला असाइनमेंट त्या ठिकाणी लक्षात येईल. नाहीतर काही मुलं काय करतात, दुसऱ्याची असाइनमेंट PDF कॉपी करून ते आहे तसं पाठवतात. तो ज्याच्या PDF वरती तिथं नाव, रोल नंबर नसेल त्यांचे मी पकडणं कन्सिडर केले जाणार नाहीत असाइनमेंट्स. ठीक आहे, ही आपण काळजी घेतली पाहिजे. Is it over? See, all these questions, once or twice it has been asked in examination, university examination. Important questions. That's why all these questions are put in the assignment. Once it is over, you can tell me. We will start. Okay, is it over?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us now see here what is fluid static. So already we have seen the definition of this fluid static there. In the unit number 1, while learning the definitions, there we have studied the definition of fluid static also. So what is the fluid static? The fluid static is nothing but it is the branch of fluid mechanics which deals with the study of incompressible fluid at rest. Okay, incompressible fluid means the fluids which do not get compressed. So that kind of fluids, for example, waters or any liquid. If that is in rest condition, and if we are doing the study of the forces and the that fluid, then we call it as a fluid static. And this, why to do the study of this fluid static? What is the importance, or what are the applications of this fluid static? The fluid static is applicable to find out what are the various forces, hydrostatic forces that will act on any surface which is coming in contact with the fluid which is in rest condition. For example, ship is there, the ocean water is in rest condition, and the submerged part of the ship, it is below the surface of the water level, right below the sea, right? So this is going to get exerted by the external forces on it, right? So we can, with the help of this fluid static, we can find out how much hydrostatic pressure force is acting on this particular submerged part. Even if the submarine is there below the certain depth, let us say 1 kilometer below the sea surface, okay, then we can find out how much hydrostatic pressure will act on this particular submarine which is at that particular depth, right? Similarly, this concept is applicable for us to determine what are the hydrostatic pressures acting on the dam body. If there is a reservoir and we have designed the dam here, if we want to design the dam, so whatever the reservoir it has been generated here, how much amount of water has been stored here, so that water is going to exert the pressure on the dam body. And this information of this hydrostatic pressure, it is very helpful while designing the dam. Okay, dam design करताना आपल्याला ते खूप त्या ठिकाणी उपयोगाला पडते. Also, the fluid statics, this knowledge is going to help us while designing the water storage tank, like overhead tank. जर एखादा overhead tank आपल्याला डिझाईन करायचं असेल तर त्या ठिकाणी पण आपल्याला ह्याचं हायड्रोस्टॅटिकचं नॉलेज आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी युजफुल इट इज गोइंग टू बिकम मोर. ओके, ओव्हरेज टँक असेल किंवा ग्राउंड स्टोरेज टँक असेल, त्याचं डिझाईन जर करायचं असेल तर दॅट टाइम we this for concept of the fluid mechanics, fluid statics, it is going to get helpful. Again, this concept of the fluid statics, they are useful for designing or manufacturing of the various pressure measuring devices. Pressure measuring the devices असतात त्यांचं working principle, it is based upon this fluid statics, and that's why this concept is useful in that pressure measuring manufacturing of the pressure measuring device also, right? So these are the various applications, or you can say uses of this fluid statics. This theory is employed to calculate the force on the submerged objects such as the ship, part of the ships and submarines. Then other applications of this theory, it is in the calculation of forces on the dam or any other hydraulic structure. Okay, dam वरती किंवा डॅमचे जे आपले गेट्स असतात त्याच्यावरती ऍक्ट होणारा प्रेशर फोर्स असेल किंवा कुठलाही अदर स्ट्रक्चर त्याच्यावरती हायड्रोस्टॅटिक water is there in the rest condition, we can find out what is the hydrostatic pressure. Hydrostatic pressure, why we call it as hydrostatic? Hydro means water, okay, and static means stable. So that is called, that's why we call it as a hydrostatic pressure. Okay, it has the application in determining the pressure at different levels in the atmosphere. Okay, atmosphere मध्ये जे वेगवेगळे लेयर्स आहेत, वेगवेगळ्या लेवलला किती प्रेशर आहे ते जर आपल्याला फाइंड आउट करायचं असेल तर त्यासाठी आपल्याला याची मदत होते. ओके, and in many pressure measuring devices, so it has the application in many pressuring devices also. Like for example, burden to pressure gauge in nanometers. All this works on this particular principle of the fluid static. Then comes next point is the what is pressure, because here where many times pressure word has come here, and in this whole unit many times we are going to deal with this particular word pressure. So pressure already we have studied what is the meaning of pressure. Pressure is nothing but it is defined as the force per unit area, or force divided by the area perpendicular to the surface. Now, in particular, this fluid static or hydrostatic, the definition of force or this pressure force, definition of the pressure here, whatever the force we are talking, that pressure, this force, it should act in perpendicular direction, okay, to the surface. The pressure intensity, it always acts in the perpendicular direction or normal direction, rather we can say normal to the surface. This pressure intensity, it always acts in the normal direction. If the surface is vertical, then this pressure intensity acting on this surface will be horizontal. If the surface is horizontal, then pressure intensity acting on this it will be vertical. If the pressure is inclined, then pressure intensity acting on this will be, it will also be inclined, but making an angle of 90 degree with the surface one which it is acting. So that is the main difference in the definition of the pressure here and in fluid mechanics and elsewhere. What is that? Pressure is defined as the force divided by the area perpendicular to the force, divided by area perpendicular to the force. जो फोर्सला परपेंडिक्युलर एरिया आहे तो आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी घ्यायचा आहे. ओके, perpendicular to the force over which the force is applied. Okay, and it is given by equation P is equal to F upon A, that is force per unit area, where F is the force applied to any area A that is perpendicular to the force. Okay, A area कसा आहे perpendicular to this force. SI unit काय त्या ठिकाणी Pascal, and what is the another unit? 1 Pascal is nothing but 1 Newton per meter square. There is another unit for measurement of the pressure, that is bar. How much bar? 1 bar is equal to how much Pascal or Newton per meter square? It is 1 lakh or 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. So you can note down this conversions also in your notebook. So first of all, write on the title, the pressure. You can write on the definition of pressure, then write down this mathematical expression for the pressure, then write down this unit of the pressure. 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square, and this another unit, 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square, or 10 to the power 5 Pascals. Okay, do it fast. I will take your attendance now. Okay, I have taken your attendance. I think this part is over. Now move ahead. Next point that we are going to learn here in this unit is the Pascal's law. Okay, what is the statement of Pascal's law? Pascal's law, it states that the pressure or intensity of pressure at any point in a static fluid is equal in all direction. Okay, pressure intensity, let us say pressure intensity at any point, or say 1 is the P1, pressure intensity at other point it is P2. Okay, and then in a closed system, suppose pressure intensity is P1, and here pressure intensity is P2. Then as this definition of the statement, according to the statement, what is saying, pressure at any point in a static fluid is equal in all direction. Okay, suppose this is one point is there, if pressure at this direction, then pressure at from this direction, pressure from this direction, pressure from any direction, all these pressures will be same. That is, mathematically you can write P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3 is equal to P4. Okay, so this is the statement of Pascal's law. Pressure at any point is same in all direction. There is another way of explanation for this Pascal's law. In a closed system, if you take there, then in this closed system, the pressure intensity at this point will be equal to this point also. Same pressure intensity will be here, though cross section area may change here. Okay, cross section area लहान आहे, इकडे cross section area मोठा आहे. But pressure intensity will be same. There will be a difference in the pressure force according to the cross section area. Cross section area जर त्या ठिकाणी कमी झाला, तर pressure force हा automatically त्या ठिकाणी वाढतो. Okay, and this pressure remain constant. जेवढा या ठिकाणी pressure आहे तेवढाच pressure या ठिकाणी पण असणार आहे. So this is the Pascal's law, and based upon this Pascal's law, there are various applications of Pascal's law, like hydraulic ram is there. Hydraulic ramp, then hydraulic jack. Hydraulic jack म्हणजे जो आपण एखादी वस्तू उचलण्यासाठी वापरला जातो, हायड्रोलिक जॅक. देन इवन इन आवर टू व्हीलर, आपल्या दोन चाकी गाडीमध्ये जो हायड्रोलिक ब्रेक आहे, डिस्क ब्रेक वगैरे आपण जो वापरतो, त्या ठिकाणी एक आपल्या जो ब्रेकचा हे जो असतो आपला काय म्हणतो त्याला लिव्हर, राईट हँड साईडला आपला जो ब्रेकचा लिव्हर असतो याच्यामध्ये टू व्हीलर मध्ये, तर त्या ठिकाणी छोटी डब्बी प्रोव्हाइड केली असते ज्याच्यामध्ये ऑइल भरलेलं असतं. ज्यावेळेस आपण हा लिव्हर दाबतो त्यावेळेस हा लिव्हर काय होतं ऍक्च्युली, या ठिकाणी एक जे पिन आहे ती पिन ह्याला या ठिकाणी ऑइल कॉम्प्रेस करते, आणि ऑइल कॉम्प्रेस केल्यानंतर या ठिकाणी जेवढा प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी आहे तेवढीच प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी इथून खालून या ट्यूब मधून खाली ट्रान्समिट होते, आणि या ट्यूब मधून हे ट्यूबला हा कनेक्ट केलेला असतो. याच्यामध्ये पण ऑइल असतं आणि ह्याच्यामध्ये पण ऑइल आहे या कंटेनर मध्ये, छोट्या बॉक्समध्ये. आणि खाली जो या ठिकाणी ब्रेक लागणार आहे, हा जो ब्रेकचा आपला शू आहे, इट इज कनेक्टेड अगेन विथ दिस ऑइल. आणि ज्यावेळेस हे ऑइल या ठिकाणी कॉम्प्रेस केलं होतं त्यावेळेस सायमल्टेनियसली हे इथं जेवढा प्रेशर आहे तेवढाच प्रेशर या ठिकाणी अप्लाय होतो, आणि हे जो शू आहे तो त्या ठिकाणी जो डिस्क आहे त्या डिस्क वरती दाबला जातो. ओके, आणि ब्रेक लागतं आपल्या गाडीचं. So this is an example application of the Pascal's law there. Then any hydraulic system, working hydraulic system, for example JCB वगैरे जो आहे, JCB you might have seen there. It works on the hydraulic this Pascal's law. जेवढा त्या ठिकाणी पंप प्रेशर क्रिएट करतो तेवढाच प्रेशर हा तिकडं त्या ऑब्जेक्टला रोटेट करण्यासाठी, एखादा आर्म उचलायचा असेल तर ते उचलण्यासाठी वगैरे त्या ठिकाणी वापरला जातो. इट इज कनेक्टेड विथ दिस हायड्रॉलिक ट्यूबिंग. या ठिकाणी जे ट्यूब्स आहेत त्या प्रेशरने ऑइलने भरलेल्या ट्यूब्स आहेत त्या ठिकाणी कनेक्ट केलेले असतात. त्या मशीनमध्ये समवेअर एक पंप असतो, जो पंप इज द वर्क ऑफ दॅट पंप इज टू क्रिएट दिस हायड्रॉलिक प्रेशर, अँड दॅट हायड्रॉलिक प्रेशर इट वर्क्स ऑन इट. हा प्रेशर या ठिकाणी फक्त वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी डायव्हर्ट केला जातो आणि ते काम त्या ठिकाणी करून घेतलं जातं. राईट. So that is another example of this Pascal's law where it is used. Okay. Now here we are going to derive this equation for the Pascal's law. So before deriving this equation, first of all, write down the title in your notebook and write down the statement of the Pascal's law. And below that, write down their title derivation and draw this diagram. Okay, do it fast. Is it over? Yes. Okay, it is over. Now here, I will explain the logic behind this derivation part. First of all, I will explain, and writing this derivation, it can happen in the next lecture because only a few minutes are remain there. I will explain you the derivation, and then in the next lecture, you can note down the derivation part. Okay. So here, for this derivation of the Pascal's law, what we have done, we have considered a small fluid element, okay, of any shape, arbitrary shape, arbitrary fluid element, कुठलाही एक fluid element आपण घेतला, which is having a wedge shape here. Wedge shape म्हणजे काय? हे अशा प्रकारचा त्रिकोणी शेप असलेला एक आपण फ्लुइड एलिमेंट त्या ठिकाणी घेतला. हा त्रिकोणी म्हणजे ह्याला 3 डायमेन्शनल आहे बरं का. हे 2 डायमेन्शन मध्ये आपल्याला ट्रायंगल दिसते, पण इट हॅज द युनिट विड्थ ऑल्सो देअर. ओके, हा असा युनिट विड्थ असलेला हा वेज शेप आपण त्या ठिकाणी डेरिव्हेशन साठी घेतलेला आहे. सो द प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी ऍक्टिंग ऑन दिस पर्टिक्युलर साइड AB, let us give name to that particular pressure intensity as a Px. The pressure intensity which is acting here on the face AC, let's give the name to that pressure intensity as a Py, and pressure intensity which is acting on this side DS, let us call that pressure intensity as a PZ. This is the PZ in pressure intensity acting here. Okay, या ठिकाणी DH च्या ऐवजी DZ का म्हटलेलं नाही त्यांनी या ठिकाणी जो आहे dz, because this is the third dimension that generally we that z, it denotes the third dimension which is perpendicular to this particular screen, right? Now या ठिकाणी आपण हे तीन प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी डिफाइन केल्या, px, py आणि pz. so they are acting. We have now seen before few minutes that pressure intensity always acts to the normal to the surface. हा जो सरफेस कसा आहे, व्हर्टिकल आहे, मग या ठिकाणी प्रेशर इंटेन्सिटी काय कशी ऍक्ट होईल या ठिकाणी हॉरिझॉन्टल. हॉरिझॉन्टल याच्यावरती व्हर्टिकल, हा इन्क्लाइन याच्यावरती इन्क्लाइन, बट मेकिंग एन अँगल 90 डिग्री विथ दिस. ओके, सो वी ऑल्सो अज्युम दॅट द अँगल मेड बाय दिस ABC, इट इज द अँगल थिटा. याला आपण नाव दिलं थिटा दिलेलं आहे. ठीक आहे, याची लेंथ आहे dx, याची लेंथ आहे dy, याची लेंथ आहे ds. ओके, BC, this length is ds. AC, it has the length dx, and this length AB is nothing but dy. Okay, then what will be the pressure force acting on this face? आता या ठिकाणी फेस म्हणजे काय, हा फक्त व्हर्टिकल लाईन नाहीये, तर 1 मीटर या ठिकाणी किंवा 1 युनिटी, याला युनिट विड्थ पण आहे. या सरफेस वरती ऍक्ट होणारा प्रेशर फोर्स किती असेल या ठिकाणी? We know that pressure intensity P is equal to, it is force per unit area. So what is the area here? Area will be this particular height, that is dy multiplied. Now this area I will write here, dy multiplied by unit width means 1. Okay, so dy area will be equal to dy dot 1 or annihilate. So the pressure force F I can write here Fx, or this is the pressure force in the x direction. Fx will be equal to, if I take this here A on this side, I will get here pressure intensity Px multiplied by area So this px, it will be as it is multiplied by this a is nothing but it is now dy. So this is the px dy is the pressure force acting on this particular area. Similarly, on this area, what will be the pressure force? It will be py dx. Okay, there is a printing mistake here. They have written here delta. Okay, py dx will be the pressure force. This pressure intensity multiplied by this area. This is pressure force. Similarly, what is the pressure force acting on this particular side? It will be pz ds. Right. This is the pressure force acting on this side. Now, what are the various forces which are acting on this particular fluid element? कोणकोणते फोर्सेस या ठिकाणी ऍक्ट होत आहेत? एक म्हणजे हे प्रेशर फोर्सेस हे त्या ठिकाणी ऍक्ट होत आहेत. And second force acting on this fluid element is nothing but it is the self weight of the fluid element. Okay, weight of fluid element. These are the two forces acting on this fluid element, right? In pressure forces, there are three components: px, py, pz. These are the forces. Now, what we are going to do here? We are going to resolve these forces in x and y direction. Okay, x and y direction मध्ये काय करायचं आपल्याला? हे forces resolve करायचे. So, what are the forces which are acting on this x direction? आता या ठिकाणी कोणकोणते forces horizontal direction मध्ये ऍक्ट होणार आहे? This is one force x direction मध्ये ऍक्ट होणार आणि हा जो फोर्स आहे ह्याचा कंपोनंट this will be dz ds cos of angle theta, right? आणि हा वर्टिकल आहे याचा कंपोनंट 0 असणार आहे. मग हे दोन फोर्स या ठिकाणी ऍक्ट होतील. So the logic behind this derivation is that what we are going to do here, first of all, we are going to equate these horizontal forces. We are going to consider the horizontal forces here. Okay, and then we will consider the vertical forces. While finding these horizontal forces here, we will get one relation, that is px is equal to pz. Okay, and under equilibrium condition for the vertical forces, जे आपण ते रिझॉल्व्ह करतो, at that time you get one more equation, py equal to pz. Okay, now this will be called equation 1. This is equation number 2, and when we equate these two equations, now you can see this py is equal to pz. Now you can see px is equal to pz and py is also equal to pz. So we can say that px is equal to py is equal to pz. From this two equation number 1 and 2, we can say that this px, py and pz, these are equal. Means the force pressure intensities which are acting in any direction, they are all equal, which are acting at that particular point. Okay, so this particular part we are going to derive in this equation, that is px equal to py equal to pz. The direction don't have the effect. Due to direction, there will not be change in the pressure intensity acting on one particular point. Okay, here relation तुमच्या लक्षात लॉजिक, जर a is equal to b असेल आणि b is equal to c असेल, then we can say that a is equal to b is equal to c. The same thing here we are applying. If px is equal to z आहे, pz आहे, py equal to pz आहे, then px and py will be equal, same, and that's why we can write px is equal to py equal to pz. So this is the logic in this derivation, so that we are going to use. So now you might have understood now what are the various component of the forces here acting in the x and y direction. Y direction मध्ये कोणकोणते component असतील? एक म्हणजे ह्याचा vertical component, आणि दुसरा हा force, आणि तिसरा म्हणजे self weight of the dam body, not dam body, self weight of this fluid molecule. हे तीन forces हे vertical direction मध्ये act होत आहेत आणि तीन horizontal याच्यामध्ये. तर horizontal forces कोणकोणते आहेत ते आपण या ठिकाणी कन्सिडर करूया. The time is over. Now we will see this derivation in the next lecture, because I am having one more lecture on the another class. So let us stop here. We will repeat this derivation in the next lecture. जेवढं आता सांगितलंय तेवढं ध्यानात ठेवायचं फक्त. काय काय सांगितलंय, हे ट्रायंगल शेप, त्यानंतर याचे कंपोनेंट हॉरिझॉन्टल आणि व्हर्टिकल कंपोनेंट कोणते, and then we will move in the next lecture. So I have taken your attendance. Now you can leave the session. Thank you.